Okay, guys, hope everyone had a good first week with online learning. This week, we're going to go over 4 problems that are similar to what you're going to see on your new Delta Math assignment. So this has to do with adding, subtracting, and multiplying with exponents. So this is our first problem that we're going to get. We got negative 4x squared minus 2x plus 1, all in parentheses, with a plus sign, negative 4x squared plus 10x plus 5. So the first thing we're going to look to do is what can we combine? So I have a negative 4x squared. Since we're adding and subtracting is in order to combine or out to the side, you got to have same letter and they got to have the same exponent. So if you have that, you can combine. So I have x to the second, and I see another x to the second, which is right over here. So I'm going to circle those, and I can combine them. So I got negative 4 plus negative 4. That gives you now negative 8. The big question we had, and we went over this earlier in the semester, is what do I do with the exponents? Do I add them, or do I keep them the same? The answer is that I keep exponents the same. I'm going to write that out to the side. Is keep exponents the same. So these are your kind of 3 rules when it comes to adding and subtracting. So I got negative 8x squared. All right, now if I look to see what else can I combine. So now I have negative 2x with a plus 10x. So negative 2 plus 10 gives me a positive 8x. Again, exponents stay the same because I am adding and subtracting. Again, same letter, same exponent, then I keep exponents the same. The last thing I can combine is I have a positive 1, and then I have a positive 5. So 1 plus a positive 5 gives me a positive 6. That is your final answer. In Delta Math, this answer should work. The only thing I would suggest is if you go from highest exponent to lowest, that's the order they prefer it in. So you have x squared. This is an x with no exponents. We can also put a 1 right there. And then I have no variable here, therefore no exponent. So this would be my answer here, negative 8x squared plus 8x plus 6. Okay, all right, problem 2. This is a little different. We didn't really see this. Don't be confused by this. They're just trying to trick you. So they're saying subtract negative 3x squared plus 6x minus 2 from x squared plus 6x. So when I write this out as an equation, this part right here, x squared plus 6x, comes first. So you're taking this from this. That's why it's going to go first. So I'm going to have x squared plus 6x in parentheses. Now, it's subtracting. So I'm going to have a subtraction sign right there. And then my other parentheses is going to be negative 3x squared plus 6x minus 2. Now I'm set up. Now I can solve it. So if you remember from when we did this earlier in the semester, from here I take the negative sign. I'm going to distribute to the right everything that is inside parentheses. So I'm going to bring down the first part of x squared plus 6x. No parentheses. Those go away. So now I have negative times a negative 3x squared. That becomes now a positive 3x squared. Why? Negative times a negative. Now I have negative times 6x. Now it becomes a negative 6x. And now I have a negative times negative 2. Negative times a negative makes that a positive 2. So from there, I follow my same rules because I have addition signs and I have subtraction signs. So my rules down here, in order to combine, same letter, same exponent. And when I combine, I keep exponents the same. So let's look here and see what we can combine. I have x squared. I can put a 1 out front. Now I got 1x squared. I can combine that with right here another x squared. This is a positive 3x squared. So I got 1x squared plus 3x squared. Now it gives me 4x squared. All right, next thing, I got a positive 6x. I can combine that with a negative 6x. Guys, 6x minus 6x, that gives you 0x. So if you want to go ahead and put a plus or a minus 0x, you can. We'll talk about this here in a sec. The big thing we don't want to do is put an x. There's a big difference between 0x and x. The reason is this is the same thing as 1x. 1x is not correct. 6 minus 6 is 0. We got to put a 0. So we don't put OX. And then the last thing I got to do is I got to drop down the +2. I cannot combine +2 with anything else, so I simply drop it down. I have a +2. Question for you guys, we went over this earlier in the semester. Is this my EOC answer? The answer is no. 0x goes away, so my EOC answer would be 4x squared plus 2. And that's our final answer right there, EOC, which we would put in delta math right there. All right, let's go to multiplying now. All right, so I'm going to start multiplying right here. So this is a distribution problem. So when I'm multiplying, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my rules over here. I'm going to multiply the coefficients. Coefficients are big numbers out front, 7, 2, -3, and 4. And then I'm going to add exponents. Again, this is review from earlier in the semester, took place in January. All right, so let's see what happens here. So I got 7x squared times 2x squared. First rule, multiply coefficients. 7 times 2, 14. X. Now I'm going to add exponents. I got a 2 and a 2. That gives me 4. So I got 14x to the 4th. Next part, here we go. 7x squared times, that's a -3x. When we first did this in January, a lot of people assumed that's 7 times 3. It's incorrect. That is 7 times -3, which is -21. X. Add exponents. Careful here. I have a 2. I don't have an exponent here. So what would I put? The answer is an invisible 1. So I'm going to put a 1 right there. So now I have 2 plus the 1. That gives me 3. So it's -21x to the 3rd. Last part, 7x squared times 4. Do you guys think this is correct? Plus 28. The answer is no, that's not correct. We had this happen a lot in January. You have to bring down x squared, whatever the case may be. So just bring it down. There's nothing to add. That's fine. Bring it down. And I got 28x squared. This is my final answer. Notice how the exponents go from highest to 4, 3, 2. That's the order we want to see it in right there. But the big thing is making sure we follow these two rules of multiplying coefficients, then adding exponents. All right, here's our last example. This is the last thing that's covered on Delta Math for this week. So this is a multiplication problem. The reason is I have parentheses right here, another parentheses right here. There's no plus sign, no minus sign. This means multiplication. I'm going to do box method. Now, when we did this, we were used to seeing x plus 4 and like maybe x plus 6, right? What we called a 2 by 2. So Delta Math is going to give you a 2 by 3. Take a deep breath. We're going to set this up and go through it together, and we're going to be just fine. So here's my box method right here. You guys that like foil, this is the reason I don't like foils, because if you use box method here, it's much more organized. It's going to keep you on the right track. So my box, here we go. I got x and 4. They're going to go off to the side right here. Then this part is going to go up top. So I got x squared. I got 2x. And then don't forget the sign was 6. That's a -6 right there. All right, before I even start, one thing. This x does not have an exponent. I would put a 1. Multiplication dot in the corner. I am multiplying everything first. So if you want to write that out to the side when you do this stuff, I'm going to multiply. I'm following my multiplication rules that we just covered, which are right down here. I'm going to multiply coefficients. I'm going to add exponents. Here we go. So I got x to the first times x to the second. Coefficients. I got a 1 and a 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So if you want to put a big 1 in front, you can. Do you have to? No. I am going to add exponents. I got a 1 plus 2 gives me 1x to the 3rd. All right. Now I'm going to go x times 2x. Again, this 2x, invisible 1 right there. Let's put that in there. Again, careful. I'm multiplying coefficients. 1 times 2 is 2. What about the exponents? 1. Remember, I add exponents. My rules down here. Multiply coefficients, add exponents. So I got a 1 plus a 1 gives me x to the second. All right. Then I have x times -6. That becomes -6x. If you want to put the invisible 1, you can, but you don't have to. That's totally up to you. All right, bottom row, here we go. 4 times x squared. 4x squared. I'm trying to pause, give you guys a moment to think about the answer before I just give it to you. That's not going to do you a whole lot of good if you don't know what's going on. All right, let's try this one. 4 times 2x. It's going to be 8x. If you want to put the invisible one, you can. Again, don't have to. 4 times negative 6. Again, the negative sign's key here. Make sure you bring it down. That's going to be negative 24. Looks like you have a lot, right? You got 6 parts. I'm going to write these all out, and then I'm going to combine like terms. All right, so I'm going to write these out. I'm going to put x to the third plus 2x squared minus 6x plus 4x squared plus 8x minus 24. All right, got a lot of things going on here. Remember, combining like terms. We've talked about this. In order to combine like terms, rules are right here from the previous example. Same letter, same exponent. And I keep exponents the same when I'm adding or subtracting. So I have an x to the third. Do you see any other x to the thirds? No. So let's move on. Let's go to 2x squared. So I have x to the second, and as a positive, always circle the sign in front. And looky there, I have another x to the second. That's a positive 4x to the second. This becomes 2 plus 4, 6x. I keep exponents the same, so it's still 6x to the second. Now I have negative 6x with a plus 8x. Negative 6 plus 8 is a positive 2x. I have negative 24. I cannot combine that with anything, so I'm going to drop it down. Negative 24. X to the third, didn't forget about it. I'm going to bring it down. X to the third. Whoa, that's really bad. A positive sign in between because that positive 6x squared. So that's x to the third. That's a really bad x to the third. Plus 6x squared plus 2x minus 24. This is your final answer. We cannot solve. There is no equal sign. That's all we can do right there. So that is box method. That's a quick review on box method with a 2x3, which you will have on Delta Math. I hope these examples help you out. If you have questions, I can't encourage you guys enough. Please email me. I'll get back to you very quickly within 24 hours. I had a couple of you guys email me last week and was able to help. Again, I'm here to help all week. If you are unsure, sitting there and doing nothing, it's not going to do you a lot of good. Email me with questions, take a screenshot. I'll get back to you with the answer, how to do it. On Delta Math, you can always click on Show Work, and Delta Math will show you the solution and how they got it. So that's why we like Delta Math. I hope you guys have a great week. Again, if you have any trouble on these assignments, I will send out on Canvas shortly and in emails of what you have for this coming week. Hope you guys have a great week. Look forward to getting you guys' questions and feedback. Thanks.